The USS Cerritos is back for one final mission. Is it mission accomplished? Let's find out.
Temporal causality. We think we're stuck in a specific fragment in time, but we've been repeating that same fragment over and over.
I just want a second look.
There's something about this one, isn't there? It's familiar somehow.
Romeo is correct. Events do appear to be repeating themselves.
Let me quote Leviticus 10.
We saw this.
Hello, welcome to You've Seen It Before TV Reviews Conventions of Mine. Star Trek Lower Decks has dropped its fifth and final season on Paramount Plus. It is once again following the crew of the USS Cerritos and the Lower Deckers who have started to slightly rise through the ranks. They're now lieutenant junior grades, and they're dealing with new responsibilities while trying to maintain their sense of reverence and jocularity. And hijinks ensue, of course, and all along a mysterious energy rift is creating new headaches all across the galaxy. Now, this review will contain certain spoilers of Lower Decks Season 5. I'll do my spoiler-free thoughts first and foremost, though. So, first things first, let's get some spoiler-free talk on Lower Decks Season 5. Is this a worthy conclusion to Lower Decks? Is it better or worse than some of the previous seasons? I will say, as far as quality goes, this has been, in my perspective, a somewhat step up from previous seasons, only because I think I mentioned in my Season 4 review that, with the character development, it seemed like we had reached pretty much the zenith of what we were going to achieve as far as, with the Lower Decks characters, with Mariner, with Boimler, and all of them. And it's like, well, where do we go from here? And what is there left to do? Because at a certain point, they're going to stop being Lower Deckers, right? And that was before. And between Season 4 and Season 5, we got the delay by the writing of the SAG-AFTRA strikes, and then there was the announcement that Season 5 was going to be the final season of Lower Decks. And I think, that is a good indication that, Paramount, I'm sure they didn't want to have to resort to canceling off shows between this and Discovery, but, as well, and Prodigy as well. But, I think that there is something to be said for having a end point in mind, because then the writing team can be more deliberate with their process and where they're leading up to. And I think, for the most part, that does bear itself out in these episodes. We do get great arcs with the main Lower Deckers. We get a great new duality arc between Tendi and T'Lyn. They're jockeying to be the science officer on the ship, and we got some fun episodes in there. Some great references, great voice casts as well. I always enjoy one episode in particular near I believe it's the second to last episode in this season, where it's not a spoiler saying that there's some multiversal hijinks going on. You get to see different variants of crews, from different Starfleets and different universes. Like one where, for whatever reason, everything's purple. Who cares? What? Why? Who cares? Everything's purple. Just go with it. And, you get a meetup of various cameos from Trek properties past, and it's fun to hear, these actors who, some of their voices, they sound exactly the same as they did in their respective series, and then there's some others that, I kind of had to listen for a brief second, and it's like, wait, it sounds just off enough, their voice aged just enough where it's like, is that actually that person? Then, of course, when the credits roll, it's like, oh, yes, it is that person voicing it. And, there's a lot of fun to be had there. And aside from that, animation, always gorgeous. There's a great montage of showing various ship designs. That's the lovely thing about animation. You can explore different ship designs that you can't. It'll take less time to make an animation than to make full CGI renderings necessarily of for hero ships for a series like Discovery. But and then you get to see this season. You get to see other aspects of the universe that you don't get to see. For instance, we finally get to see in full, rather, instead of we've seen brief little snippets here or there, but we get to see in full the Starbase 80, the dreaded Starbase 80, where no one wants to go, and it's an adventure, that's for sure. That's a great episode as well. My favorite has to be an episode where there's some time dilation going on with the away team has to beam down to a planet where time moves a lot faster than the ship above. So while only 8 seconds go by on the Cerritos, they're literally months on this planet, and all the things that could go wrong there. That's probably my favorite episode of the season. But there's a lot to be had. If you enjoyed the previous seasons of Lower Decks, I think you're going to have a good time with this season. So if I was going to give Star Trek Lower Decks Season 5 a letter grade, I would say this is a solid A. Not A+. I think there's certain nitpicks that I can find. I mean, certain tropes that get repeated, or sometimes there's a gag with Boimler who gets information about a copy of him from another universe, and he's obsessed over it. It's like, okay, that wasn't really that funny to begin with, and they kind of dragged that on throughout the whole season, and that was not my favorite elements of the season. But again, nitpicks. This is an overall pretty solid season and a solid way to conclude the series. So there you have it. Those are my main spoiler-free thoughts on Lower Decks Season 5. Now let's get some spoiler talk as certain plot developments and character arcs that may seem familiar to you and where you may have seen them before. I don't have a lot to talk about because I'm not going to go episode by episode and talk about all the things that you've seen. Oh, this is referencing that episode, or this is referencing that movie in that episode, or whatever. That there's so many other channels that do deep dive to that, do a much better job than I could do here. But I did want to point out, like I said, my favorite episode is the episode it's called Fully Dilated, the episode where Mariner, T'Lyn, and Tendi go down to the time-dilated planet, and they live life or whatever while Boimler and Rutherford are trying to clean up their spilled marinara sauce or whatever on the console to beam them back. It's referencing the episode Blink of an Eye from Voyager, but for my money, I think that this is more closely following the what we don't see in the episode, but was written about in the short story 18 Minutes from Distant Shores, the anniversary short story collection that they did for Voyager a while ago, in which the Doctor is down on the planet and lives his life for 3 years or whatever, and then he has the relationship on that, and things that he gets to do on that front, and then there's the race to get to the beam-in sites, or he gets the notice, and he has a day or whatever to realize that, oh yeah, about to beam up, I gotta say my goodbyes or whatever. So that's what I thought of when I saw that episode in particular. But like I said, there's so many others to talk about, and other channels would do that far better than I could in episode by episode. But what did you think of Lower Decks Season 5? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What about my analysis? Do you agree, disagree? Did I miss something? Let me know in the comments down below. In fact, what are your season rankings? Well, what's your favorite episode across all of the episodes of Lower Decks that we have now? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Again, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate whatever audience I can get. Be sure to look for my next TV review, which will be for Marvel's What If Season 3, the final season of What If. Once all episodes drop for that, I'll be doing probably a brief review of that season, as well as be sure to look for my best and the worst of 2024 video to come out before the end of the year. And I'll be also doing once the new year rolls around, I'll be doing a 2005, 20 years later retrospective on a whole bunch of films that came out in 2005 that'll be turning 20 years old once we roll the calendars over. So be sure to look for all of that. And if you like this video or any other video on my channel, please give me a like, share, and especially subscribe. I would very much appreciate it. Again, thank you so much for watching. Just remember, there is nothing new under the sun. And yes, you have seen it before.